Welcome to another Mind, Body, Spirit panel. We grab three experts who have usually been on the main show, Angels, Positivity, and Love, and bring them together. This is a second go for these three amazing panelists. They've got India backgrounds one way or the other. They've spent time there studying under gurus who are no longer alive, or they've had the guru come to them in a dream, or they actually have an Indian background and have studied spirituality that way. So let me do introductions. I am just so excited to have them back. I think there's just something going on here. I think you in the audience are going to really enjoy this. So please put a few emojis down. That counts as a comment. Be more bold, do the comment, subscribe, like, share. It helps other people see this amazing content. Okay, we have Hema Vyas, a psychologist in London. She focuses especially on the affluent, people on a path to success, helping them handle it, expand their bandwidth, and more. But she's steeped in India traditions and is super intuitive. And I'm going to go ahead and describe her as I would for the other two, spiritual teacher. And so moving on to the next person, VASI THERESE ROSE LOPEZ. I'm a huge fan of hers, can't have her, all three of them on the show enough. You can find her several appearances on several previous Mind, Body, Spirit panels, as well as several direct appearances on the show. She's coming to us out of St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, studied directly under SRI Kaleshwar, who passed around 2011, 2012. She's just freshly back from India. Super talented Shakti energy healer. And lastly, Julie Hoyle in the Bahamas, out of the UK originally, in the Bahamas. Teacher by day, but spiritual teacher the rest of the time, and been doing it a long time. A lot of books, a lot of helping others, podcast, and more. She received Shaktipat directly from the universe in a very beautiful way. You can hear about that in her multiple appearances also on the APL show. I'd just like to say hi to everybody and thank you for being here. I'm a huge fan of all three of you. I think you're incredibly talented. And boy, are we all going to have some fun today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, I already got a volunteer to start us off. We're going to have one of the panelists ask the other two a question, and that would be Julie Hoyle, bottom right, wearing the white shirt, blonde hair. Julie, what's your question for our other two panelists?
Do I get to choose one of the panelists or both?
You could do both if you wish.
Well, let me just start with Hema. Excuse me. Hema, how do you, considering that I know you you have an Indian background, Indian heritage, but you're living in London. How do you translate in a sort of in an accessible way the mysteries, the wisdom of your heritage and your deeper, your mystical wisdom with your clients, especially with people that come to you who really don't know anything about Shaktipat or Shakti or the chakras or any of those things?
Thank you. What a beautiful question to start with. I'll keep it brief, but I think it's years of experience, and how I learned was, Julie, to start with where they're at and then gradually build up that trust and then start bringing concepts and just throwing it in, as a sort of throwaway remark, and they always leave going, oh, that's interesting, tell me more. And then over the years I've done lots of workshops and things where I've gone into more detail. And then I finally sort of started inviting them to India with me so they can experience the magic of India on the land. And there I get to share a lot of the Ayurvedic wisdom and a lot of the wisdom in terms of what I've experienced and how they can live a more spiritually connected life. But I think it's about starting with where they're at and then gradually bringing in different aspects with curiosity. So they're curious and I'm curious to know whether they're curious. And so there's a reciprocal relationship and it's never forced.
Beautiful. I love that. Starting where they're at is fantastic.
And
Thank you.
Julie, did you have a version you could ask Vasi in St. Thomas?
Yeah, I would ask a similar question because obviously you're in a different environment. And I know, because I'm in the Bahamas, I do have a very different relationship with people that live here because in the Bahamas, most people have a Christian kind of orientation. So I've had to learn to utilize language that is accessible for them. And I wondered if that's the same for you where you are.
It is. It is actually. And I think that many of the people here, I could say, half are Christian or religion oriented, and the other half are just open to nature and to the cosmic and to like new age ideas. So really, it's easier to talk to those people who aren't religious based because they don't have any preconceived ideas. They're, more open to what's new and what's going on right now. And it's a lot easier to get their attention and to present new ideas and concepts that, haven't been learned in a church or in a structured setting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I just to kind of add on to that, I had to learn years and years ago to not utilize kind of yogic style language because there was definitely a push against that. But if I said, Jesus told me to tell you, or spirit is saying this, then it was sort of digestible and it was accessible for them. Otherwise, walls would come down, and so we could have these beautiful conversations about the limitless nature of and the truth of who we are. But language can be such a barrier if we're not careful and we don't know how to utilize it.
In a second, in a little bit, in 5 minutes, we're going to get to the cosmic stuff. What's going on with mankind? Big picture, eternal questions. We'll try to solve them here on the panel. But, Hema, what do you have for a question for one of the other panelists or both?
Well, I'd like to ask both of them, but I'll take it one at a time if that's okay. So, Julie, I'll start with you. I'd love to ask you, how do you navigate when you come across somebody that really kind of hits home for you in terms of your journey? You can see similarities, resonance. How do you manage and keep those boundaries, but also allow the space for them to be who they are and share what they need to for you to help support them?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fantastic question. And it can be really tricky because you don't want to kind of offload your personal story and all of that. But what happens oftentimes is I will ask permission and I'll say, look, I have a very, small personal anecdote. If I can share, I think it has value for where you're at. And I'll just share like a little snippet without going too much into the detail and taking up their time and work with them that way. And, I also kind of sense into whether it feels appropriate, obviously, and try to, again, like you said, work with people wherever they're at. But what I found is that there's a real kind of synchronicity and deeper flow with those who have had a kind of a similar background, even though the details might not necessarily be the same. It's fairly easy, I would say, to work with people in that way.
Absolutely, I agree. Thank you. That's a lovely answer. And same for you, Vasi, if that's okay. I'd love to ask you the same thing.
I'm sorry, could you repeat it again?
Of course, yes. So how do you work with people when you hit something that is very, very resonant and personal to you, and you come across somebody who's going through something? How do you manage those boundaries, but also, support them without necessarily, bringing what you've been through it, in a negative way, but allowing it, as Julie said, to use it as a positive?
Well, I usually, in our exchange and our talking, I kind of feel them out and see where they are, just check their level of openness. And if I feel like they're open, then I will ask permission to say something that has come through me. It's not from me, but it's from the divine for them as information that could be very helpful to help them get through their stuck area or whatever they're going through. And then I present it that way. I just bring it in softly and gently. And then if they're looking curious and more open to what it is and want to know more, then I continue on. But you can feel it when they're ready for more, when there's that space that they're really wanting to receive more information and maybe even Shakti pots, very specially blessed rose water, whatever it is. I just kind of feel them out and see what's happening with them and then bring it in as needed.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I
Thank you.
can just thank you for that answer. So beautiful. If I can just share a little bit that, I think it's really important. As my training in psychology, there was a real thing about not being able to share our experiences. But of course, some of our experiences are so deeply spiritual in nature and profound that I feel it really supports people, and it's helpful to be able to share in the gentle way, but of course, using our intuition and empathy to make sure that we're reading them correctly, that they're ready to hear our journey, and rather than see us as separate, see us as part of them. So I love both your answers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we do the next question, or a big question, or even get to blowing some sage your way into London, the Bahamas, and St. Thomas, a couple of small questions for interesting answers. How big is the universe to each of you? And wherever a person's at, is help always readily available if you'll just get out of your own way? Hema, how would you answer that?
The universe is infinite, so there is no limit. And yes, I think if we get out of our own way, then there is no need for answers when we get out of our own way. We are both the problem and the solution. And so, it's allowing flow. And when we flow, then there's no need for an answer.
Vasi.
Yes, the universe is limitless, infinite, ever expanding. It just keeps going on, and that's the wonder and beauty of it. Um, and I agree with Hema that when we get out of our own way, all the answers are there, and we have those answers inside. We often look outside of ourselves, and some people are at the point where they need spiritual assistance that way to help them find the answers. But really, everything is within us, within our own being, in our soul.
Julie.
Yes, I mean, I concur with what's already been said. The universe is limitless, and trying to kind of locate a barrier or an end to it is impossible, I think. And with respect to connecting and always having a connection with a great being or a saint or an angel or a butterfly or a flower or a bird, or something that is a touchstone to the divine, that is always available and accessible to us. But of course, we have to get out of the mind. A great being once said, the mind has to take rest in the heart in order to be able to receive. And of course, what happens is, if there's a lot of the kind of movement of the mind, you're lost in the mind, you're not going to be able to hear anything or feel anything. So that really is where the work is.
And you must be intuitive, Julie, because that was the next question, which is a famous angel, or it was a Native American chief, I never remember anything, once said, grow your awareness, not your thinking. Hema, how can people just try to figure out what this is versus what this is? How can they pump the brakes a little daily? What's this all about again? Do you have one or two, three suggestions daily on how to just do a check? Do I have a pulse, a spiritual pulse? Am I really able to get to my heart? What is the heart? All those questions.
Well, I think awareness, it's really about questioning ourselves, being curious, not living from that habitual conditioned space where we just do everything as we've always done it and believe everything we've always believed. It's opening up our minds so that when our minds are truly open, we open up both sides of the brain, which allows us to connect back into our hearts. So that's one aspect. But I think the other thing is, using our imagination. That's why, when we were young and we'd read and, it would open up this whole world where, two people could read the same book, but they'd experience it so differently. They imagine people in different ways and they imagine things. And so I think, to really, really step into our heart, to really allow imagination to flow.
Vasi.
Yeah, coming out of the mind and more into the heart and soul. I really feel strongly that meditation has a big place in that. Really focusing more on the unseen energies and just really filling your soul with that divine vibration so that when you do come out of meditation, you try to stay in that place and work from that and not work from your mind. And it's much easier said than done. But I've noticed with myself, if I happen to slip back into a thought pattern or a habit, I try to replace it with something else. Try to replace it with like maybe a deep breath if I get frustrated, or another set of words opposite to what I'm thinking that might not be so positive. Having replacements, being very observant of yourself and what you're going through really helps, and focusing more on the soul through meditation, I think is real big. Mm-hmm.
Julie.
Yeah, so a Siddha master once said it's impossible for two thoughts to be happening simultaneously, which is why mantras and prayer work are so important. And you can check that yourself. You know, the mantra I was given is Om Namah Shivaya. So, you know, when I heard that sort of comment about the two thoughts, I just practiced that and started to see, well, is it possible to repeat Om Namah Shivaya and have, you know, myriad thoughts? And I saw it wasn't. The mantra took up space and helped to calm the mind. And then, and you know, the same is true with a prayer, any prayer that you resonate with, or any other mantra you resonate with. And when you focus on a mantra or you focus on a prayer, the mind, just by its own accord, becomes very still and very quiet. And then this space opens up, this space of silence and connectivity opens up, which of course is our natural state of being. So I always recommend mantras and prayer work to help, especially if your mind is very active.
Beautiful. I am going to have each of you go spontaneous here and do something for the audience where they can maybe feel your vibe. It might be Julie repeating her mantra 3 times, but sending love out to the world and all of us and her co-panelists. Who would like to volunteer first? You can sit in silence and vibe us out. You can vibe us out directly with a few words. You can do other stuff. Do I have a volunteer?
Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to have a real intention for each of our hearts to connect, and we're all in different parts of the world, and so to connect and then send it out to everybody who's going to be listening, watching the show now, in the future, whenever that might be. Just really, really receiving the power of our hearts combined with this intention to bring just this space of love and connection. And as well as touching each other's hearts, I hope it touches the hearts of everyone who comes into contact with it in one form or another. Thank you.
Lovely. And before we go to Vasi, Julie, did you feel something from Hema in London?
Yes, I felt waves, just beautiful waves, very calming. It was beautiful.
And Vasi in St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands, Caribbean, or Caribbean, whichever way you say it. Vasi, what did you feel and get? And then if you don't mind taking us somewhere as well.
Felt really a lot of warmth and some soft tingling in my heart. Very strong connection with all 3 of you, actually. Yes.
And Vasi, what would you like to do if you don't mind prefacing it with some words first and give the person a fighting chance to repeat it on their own in the future or something like that, so they'll come back and play this again? And this is a great time to do an emoji or to say in a little bit that you did catch the sage or put a nice comment down. We love comments. Okay, Vasi, what have you got for us?
I like to share Shirdi Sai Baba's he's right here over my shoulder. I'd like to share his personal mantra and have people connecting with that energy because he is the acting guru of this yuga. In fact, the Kali Yuga has just ended, and now it's the Sai Yuga, which is 1,000 years of peace. And so I'd like to just chant his mantra. I'll say it aloud a few times. And then as we connect with him, with his soul and his spirit, that energy will go out to everybody. And it has been said that he is the grandfather of everyone. He's connected with everyone. So his mantra is Om Sai Shri Sai Jai Jai Sai. Om Sai Shri Sai Jai Jai Sai. Om Sai Shri Sai Jai Jai Sai. And so I'll just pause a few moments and recite that internally and ask for his assistance, his power to come through to touch every soul who's watching. His power is universal. It's not just on the earth, it's everywhere. Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Bhakti. Beautiful. And Hema, did you get that in London? And did you get any light or movement with your eyes shut?
Oh, I so received that. Sai Baba, I get blessing from him every morning. I have him just behind me here. You might not be able to see it. The same one that you've got, Vasi. So, I felt waves of warmth and bliss and just really connected. So thank you. That was gorgeous.
And Julie.
So likewise, I really connect with Sai Baba, Sachi Sai Baba. He's just so incredible. And I also have an image of him on my puja. And when you started saying the mantra, I closed my eyes. I saw him, I see him, I feel him in my energy field. And he said, when you think of me, I'm always here. And that I've had darshan with him in dreams as well, and his presence is very very close, very connected. So thank you. It was really beautiful.
And Julie, I think you already did something for us. You started us off, right?
Yes.
Very vacuous. So, but I'm going to have you go back and explain darshan for somebody who just stumbled into the term for the first time before we each go to a photo of him and have you hear something from him directly to relay to all of us for walking a smoother, more fun, happy path. What is darshan?
So I don't know exactly the exact translation, but in a simple way, it's the meeting of the truth, the seeing of the truth, the recognition of the truth through the form of a guru or an enlightened master. And what happens is when you come into the physical presence of a great being, or you're in their presence in a dream, in a lucid dream, as I was, decades ago with Bhagavan Nityananda, there's an absolute recognition. There's this, it's like everything falls and pranams, your head hits the floor, you just bow down to this limitless truth of being. So that's how I would explain it in a simple way.
I'm going to put his photo up. Hema, either you're going to get a reminder from him to you to share with us all, or it'll be something else. I don't know what that could be. It could be just a strong incense smell out of an Indian temple. You'll be able to tell us.
So the message that I get is I think we've already said that whenever you're in need, I'm going to be there. And so reach out. I'm here for every soul, every living organism. So just reach out and I'll be there. And we'll give darshan. Beautiful.
Awesome. And Vasi, you're not going to need a photo. None of you need a photo, but I'm still going to put it up. And if you don't mind getting some sort of ripple up and down, whether it's your back, your front, all over, something that says, hey, I'm here, and you're having a little extra fun. What does Sai Baba have as a reminder for all of us?
He's reminding to open our hearts to him and to any divine being that we truly connect with, to open our heart and our soul and allow their love and the deeper connection to happen, because that's what's real.
And I'll add two quick things before we go to Julie. And Julie, you can have that photograph move. A wink, a smile, the eyebrow goes up, get a shoulder waggle. He'll do something and it'll make you laugh. I was gonna say he will show up on my runs, not literally like right next to me, but in a sort of an imaginary way. I don't know how to say it. Geronimo and him, but he'll show up with an Adidas 1970s headband across the top. That no matter how big the 12% incline hill and my music's not doing it, and I'm huffing and puffing, he'll show up and just lighten the load a little. And they always tell me to talk to the cedar trees as well and the mountain to ask for extra help. So I had to mention that. Here is Sri Shirdi Sai Baba. But Julie, can you have a photograph that we know can't move? Move. People can do this at home. Set your intent. Just be like, hey, universe, Sai Baba, make it so. I could use a few angels, and that was the other thing. He's super tight with angels. I meant to say that he's a sweetie.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, you got the movement. You got something for us. What are you sharing?
Yeah, so what I saw is his hand moving to his heart, and he's pointing to his heart, and essentially saying the same thing that Vasi said. You can find, he said, you find me in your heart, and it's the truth.
We're getting closer to asking big cosmic questions. What's up with mankind? Is mankind ready for more awareness? It's not just on the horizon anymore. It's actually, I think, coming here. I'm going to light some sage. I'm also going to whoosh all of you with light, but we'll go easy first and just do a little sage. Look, you can catch sage. I don't care if you're in Tokyo, Berlin, Christchurch, Mumbai. There's probably a new name for Mumbai. I don't know it. But catch sage any way you want. You just catch sage. Let the universe, angels, Sai Baba bring it to you. No try Yoda. Always try Archangel Gabriel. So it's not about words. Your heart knows how to do the smelling or allowing or listening or feeling. But why just settle for sage when you can have an amazing flower, ocean smell, or something je ne sais quoi? I don't know what it is. You're the one who's doing the receiving and allowing, and you guys are hyper, super talented healers and connected to all with a capital A. Hema, what are you getting in London besides sage smoke? But give us an acknowledgement you are getting some sage. Boy, is that burning a lot.
I'm getting the sage and I'm getting jasmine, which I love. I love the smell of jasmine. We don't get too many in the UK, but in India you get lots of them. So
Yay. Julie, what are you getting in the Bahamas?
Yeah, I was getting the same actually. I was getting incense mixed with sage, mixed with jasmine, and it reminded me of being in India in Ganeshpuri. So it's beautiful. Thank you.
And Vasi, you might want to mention where you just came back from in India a few weeks ago. And what are you getting?
I just returned from Pinnaconda, India. It's the birthplace of Mother Divine and the Nada Bindu of the whole globe. And it's a very special place where many masters and saints walked, meditated, and have power spots. And the fragrance that I received was Nag Champa.
And again, before we go, big picture question, and I do any whooshing real fast. Can you do a power word? This just came to me. It could be a power phrase. I know you've already used some phrases, so it can't be something you said before. Be inspired, if you don't mind, from the universe, from Ganesh, Divine Mother, an angel, Jesus, Mary, Muhammad, whoever, Buddha. What are you getting, Hema, for a word or two that is just suddenly your favorite thing you had to share?
well, I just got a sense of magic. So real sense of magic in the air.
Nice. And Vasi, this is super impromptu. What'd you get?
Holy womb.
Ooh, can you explain that and give us the word one more time or phrase?
Holy womb.
Oh,
The
okay. Holy
womb.
womb. Got it.
Yeah, the womb. The womb is every woman's power spots. And each person, man and woman, have a womb chakra. It's like one of the other chakras in our chakra system, but it's related with the womb. And the womb is a place where no illusion exists. Everything is in fullness, in awareness, in power, and love of the mother. It's a place where we are everything and we have everything. It's where we get our Shakti. And sometimes our soul is there, sometimes our soul is in our heart. But the womb is the place that it's where we're connected with Divine Mother. She is our soul mother through our womb energy. She's given birth to our souls.
And Julie, we're coming to you, but then we're going to go to you for the big question right after I put up 3 photos of angels for 10 seconds and do some whooshing. And then we're going to talk big picture stuff for mankind and what's happening. More consciousness, more awareness, more fun, I'm assuming. Okay, what do you have for us in the moment?
So take courage, particularly with respect to listening to your own inner guidance and not looking outside for answers, and living true to what you're feeling and perceiving inside yourself, and taking steps to follow where that leads you.
Brilliant. Big picture questions coming. I'm putting up 3 photos of angels, Joy, Charlotte, Blue, and Min, who said something like that as well. It's on my website. I can never remember what it was exactly, but something like all your answers are within. And I'm going to whoosh, not real quick, just going to whoosh. I'll put my hands up and blow a little. Microphone's down here today. If I look like a goose, so be it. And if anybody doesn't mind catching Hawaii plus India plus just catch some fun love and light. At home, are you worried about it? Ask angels to get you out of your head into your heart. Rub your hands in a circle, do anything. Throw a finger paint around. Here it comes to London, the Bahamas, and St. Thomas. Yay. And I love you guys. You're all amazing. Here it comes. Let angels and India figures do the rest. And Hema in London, did you get that A-okay?
Beautiful.
VASI.
Yes, with the fragrance of cedar.
A little poetry there. I like that. Okay, and Julie.
Yes, that was beautiful.
Awesome possum, as they say in Texas. I learned that one a couple summers ago. Okay. Haven't been in Texas all my life. East Coaster. We were going to go somewhere. Oh, yeah. Cosmic. The big question, Julie, what's this all about again? Are we finally here where there's a little bit more expansion going on, the vibes going up? Even the animals are saying, wow.
Yeah, I mean, as we all know, it's I would say it's a critical time in humanity's process or progress, in terms of opting to choose fear or choose love and light. And we're being presented with, on social media and wherever, we're being presented with things that may sound convincing, but, have no real depth. So we have to really listen to our own inner guidance and then act accordingly and be true to who we are, beyond the story, beyond the narrative. And I think that's where we're at globally.
Well, certainly.
And it's not easy. It's difficult, right?
Kindness and compassion certainly count, and it definitely is sometimes not so easy to do, depending on the situation. And easy if you'll allow for it. Okay, Hema, what do you got for us on the big picture, mankind? What's this all about again, Alfie?
So I agree with Julie. I think we're really getting to a point where connecting with our own hearts and our spiritual essence is so important, because there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of division and polarization. And I think when we come back to our hearts, we give everyone permission to do the same. I think it's a time for real courage, to really step outside of the box thinking, and to allow magic, to allow spirituality, to allow deeper essences and the cosmic kind of, sense to really seep into our soul, so that we begin to live from that space. I feel energetically there's been a suppression of energies, and it takes people who have viscerally experienced some sort of spiritual awakening to really be the voice and to be the lead, to show others how to do that, so that they can step out of this illusion, the Maya that we've been living under, and to step into this new world that's already here. It's waiting for us. It's been here. It's ready to receive us. So I think it's a beautiful and difficult time to be.
Yes.
Lovely. And before we go to Vasi, you're next. In a second, I'm going to have all of you put your hands up so that the viewer at home can put their hands up. And since all of you still do one-on-ones, the viewer at home can put their hands up and get a vibe from you, feel warmth on their palms for each one of you. But instead of it only being one of you, maybe over the next 2 years, they could get a sort of sense of which is strongest, who should be first, they could reach out to, then second and third, just around the bases, baseball analogy here. Vasi, what is this all about again? Big picture, mankind?
We're all going through a cosmic upliftment right now, the earth and all of humanity on the earth. And so many souls are waking up to the fact that we are one as a human family. We're one as humans with the planet herself, with all life on it, the waters, the animals, the plants, everything is alive and one as the mother's energy. And we're all being asked to choose either love or fear, like Julie said. And those who choose love are moving on to the higher levels. Our physical being is changing from carbon to crystalline and will be going up with the earth to the fifth dimension. And that's what's happening. It's already pretty much in place. It's just more and more people need to wake up till we reach that critical mass and know that the truth is all around us. It's inside of us. There's a lot changing, and to be aware of it, to be in observation, to have intention, to be clear and to know your truth, and to really be vigilant, to see the signs that are there. We have so many extraterrestrial family helping us as well and bringing the light to the planet. And the sun is flooding us with higher levels of light as well. So we're all being uplifted and upgraded.
And you're not off the hook yet, Fossey. How do you really know? How do you know any of this? And can you share what you saw out over the ocean? Literally, did you not at one point get to see light coming in a beautiful fashion?
I have.
So one way or the other, can you just reinforce it a little more with some of your personal experiences? And I'll put up an angel named Joy if anybody needs an extra bit of just high vibe, high peppy voice like she's 29 years old saying, duh, it's here. You only have to hop on board. Okay, Vasi, what else could you share with us for a personal, like just not encounter, but just is there something you could share personally? What you've seen or experienced along the way?
Well, there are many podcasts now, many conscious souls on the planet who are sharing truthful information like you. And there are many extraterrestrials channeling their information through channels on Earth. So I listen to a lot of those, and you just have to really take what resonates with you and feel that. When I feel the truth, I get tingles inside. I can feel it all through my body, especially in my spine. So I know when something is true that way, and we each have to find how that would be for ourselves. But like my news is the cosmic news. I don't watch the regular media anymore. So that's kind of off limits for me at this point. I'm really focusing more on increasing the light of the earth and helping souls who don't yet know what's going on to bring their energy up and their awareness up to receive that the higher light into their lives. And last summer, I was swimming in the ocean, doing a very special process mantra, just Divine Mother and myself, asking for her to really heal my soul and bring her energy to me. And as I was looking at the sunlight on the ocean, the color changed. It went from like the white that you normally see to bright fuchsia. It was really amazing. And it like swished toward me. And so I knew something really special was happening.
Oh, that's beautiful. And
Yeah.
Julie, do you have a reaction or a follow-up real quick?
Yeah, so I'm just remembering some years ago now, it must be 15 years ago, I had a lucid dream with a Siddha master, and she was lying down and she asked me to do a healing on her breast, on her right breast. And she said, there's cancer in the breast. And she asked me to, lay my hands on her breast and do some healing. So I said to her, is it yours? Is it mine? or is it the world? And she said, it's a cancer of the world. And those who are awakening to the truth of who they are going to heal the darkness. And I always remember that because, I've seen kind of evidence of the way that has been working, especially with so many people awakening to the truth of who they are and coming to recognize that they have the capacity to create change and to support others to awaken to.
Hema or Vasi, do you have a follow-up to this? And if not, I've got the next. Hema, what do you have?
And no, I was just going to let Vatsy short talk. But
Yeah,
I
I
can.
was gonna say I agree. Yeah, sorry. I agree with what Julie said. We all have to, heal ourselves, heal those points within ourselves that have been wounded, because that time is over. The suffering soul is being healed, and that we are one as a humanity. Everyone is going on that path. It might be that we're experiencing it for a short time longer because such great light is coming in and it's pushing those issues up and out. But to handle it with grace and to know that it's part of the past illusion, part of our past learning experience, it has helped our soul to grow quite a bit.
Julie?
Yeah, I mean, beautiful. I'm just looking forward to hearing what Hema has to say.
Thank you. I was just going to share that, thank you for sharing. That's so beautiful, both of your experiences. And I do feel that there's so many magical moments, and really, I think we're all probably experiencing so many things that it's hard to think of one thing that we want to specifically share. But, the lights, orbs, the presence of the divine in so many different ways, in meditation, in dreams. I'm also very auditory, so I can hear the tablas playing when you talk, Michael. And I think all of this is guiding us to recognition that we are so much more than our individual self. And so when we really embody and embrace that, healing organically takes place, because what is healing? It's really expansion, disease of any sort, whether it's suffering of the mind or of the body, it comes from that contraction. And when we're expanding in a space like this, where we're all sharing from such an expansive heart space, I feel that healing becomes possible. And of course we know that it is necessary, and on one level it's already happened. On another level, because we're still going through the linear time space continuum, we're experiencing it as happening. So both paradoxes kind of simultaneously exist, and it's beautiful to share with you all here in this space. It's just lovely.
And we're about to go hyper interactive in a way that I would argue no show has done in ever. I haven't done it in 350 taped programs. Many of those haven't come out yet. But we're going to do one quick thing I'm going to add just for folks at home. My 2 cents would be just, hey, tell the universe you don't even know what you're doing. It's fine. And be like, hey, take care of everything. I trust in the universe. And even if I don't know how to trust in the universe, I'm going to trust that my heart does. I'm going to start letting go more, make it really nice. Like you walked into a restaurant, you know the owner, you know the head chef. Maitre d's already got your table set for you. It's called hospitality. Those are all angels, by the way. And just trust that you're walking into the best restaurant. You don't even need a menu. They're going to give you a 13-course meal for the regular fixed price thing that was on the menu. You're going to get served up really well. And then check out these three, because that's the next exercise. If I could get you all to just put both your hands up. And if you don't mind saying a fragrance, a flower, cinnamon, jasmine, something, you can't have the same. This is going to be, people can take their time. We're going to do this for a few minutes. They'll go to up, an audience member can just put their hands up to Hema, to Vasi, to Julie, and whatever resonates strongest, they know maybe to reach out to you, and they'll hear the date, or they'll get a sense for next spring, this summer, June. Right now it's March of 2025. So what's the flower, smell, cinnamon, something? Hema, what do you want to have someone catch that they say, it's London I need to get in touch with? What's your flower
Um, so the flower that I get is a beautiful white rose, and I get the smell of frankincense.
So flower and frankincense. Okay, Vasi and St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. What's your thing?
I was getting the peace rose.
Okay, but can you give us one more that's different than Hema so they absolutely know it's you? They're going to feel energy on their hands when they put their hands up to your hands in that square rectangle thing. Vasi, one more fragrance thing.
Yes, Shandan or sandalwood.
Yay, Julie.
Lavender and any form of incense that, folks like.
Awesome. And at home, if you need extra help, I don't know, rub your hands, clap twice, go put music on, dance your heart out, pause this, and then maybe take your dog for a walk or just get your dog to dance with you as long as you don't have two and the other one's getting jealous. I don't know. But let go, let go, let go, and then have fun and feel what you can feel. Do not judge. And I guarantee you, this is the time to also put a comment down. And what are you feeling with whom? You might get all three. How do you know? How do you know anything? How do you know a good cup of coffee is a good cup of coffee? I rest my case. You just know. You're like, hey, I want another cup of coffee. You actually go back to the diner again. Or it's New Mexico Pino coffee out of New Mexico. Duh. Although we're doing Dunkin' Donuts in the household, hazelnut. We like it. Okay. In a second, you can put your hands down, but if each of you could just do one little life reminder. Hema, what do you have for us as a little life reminder?
Live courageously.
Yay. Vasi.
Live in love.
Yay. And Julie, I'm going to put my hands up now.
Take action with respect to your calling, your purpose.
Ooh, yay. And if anybody gets ocean breeze, I'm going to blow through the microphone. Just do it for fun. Don't put me on the list. Catch a little sea spritz on the nose. I'm going to make really wild sounds because my microphone usually makes it silent. So I'm going to be loud. Catch Hawaii, something. Did you all get a little ocean? I didn't do it. Blame Sai Baba, India figures, angels, and don't blame Canada. Okay. Vasi, what question? You guys can drop your hands. And thank you for doing that. You were super participatory, and I really do believe people can feel this energy. And for years to come, I expect you to be getting a call 10 years from now saying, I saw this on the video. Where was I for the first 9 years? And I know this is crazy, but I'm reaching out. I even heard a voice, my guardian angel, it turns out, saying, I need to contact Vasi and St. Thomas. Vasi, what question do you have for these two?
How do you, we'll start with Julie. And the same question for Hema, but how do you go beyond your mind into the stillness of your soul and free yourself from your false self? Just to maintain your balance, and maintain your high energy level.
So for years, I've been in the habit of really dropping as deeply into the silence within my being as I can. And I think what really helped that was years and years of japa, mantra repetition and finding that quiet space. And so I just follow that silence just to see how, how far and how deep it goes. And it always works.
Very nice. Yeah, I could agree with that. Yes. And Hema?
Absolutely. I think that's the beauty of all of us. We're all meditators. So I would say that the same. It's being up super early so that there isn't the outside noise and there isn't the worry of, getting on with the day, and really having a deep, deep meditation practice. And by meditation, I simply mean allowing myself to drop into my heart and allow whatever needs to show up. There's no other intention apart from simply connecting with the cosmos, connecting with the divine, connecting with my true essence.
Beautiful.
I'm going to add 2 cents. I have used different music over time to just drop out. Half the time I don't hear the music anymore once it fades and angels are coming in and all this stuff. But I'm going to mention an Indian singer. I know this, I sent this to Vasi when I was super excited. I found her. I can mispronounce everything, but it's Nurali Kartik with Amit Mishra on the tabla. And it is so beautiful. It's on YouTube, and I can't play this stuff enough. But I have a fun, gentle, I think it's called Fun Gentle playlist on my YouTube channel. It's really hidden. It's the last playlist you can find. So if you go to the playlist section, you can find all sorts of videos in there. There's two videos of 26 minutes each with Sri Kaleshwar being interviewed by Alan Steinfeld, who's been a guest of this show. And I want to show on Spotify what this looks like. It's a morning raga that's good year round. And there she is. And I just find it extremely powerful. I go places and all the rest, but I mean, I put down a towel. I always say grab a stuffed animal, grab a pillow, don't make it too hard, don't do your usual spots, and you'd be surprised how you get out of your own way. The worst that happens, you take a nap. So come back and put a comment about that you're really well rested, but nothing happened. It's okay. The second you least expect it is when it happens. And before we get serious again, could you share a personal moment where you did not expect it and something happened and you were not the same person later? Was it out and about? Was it a Shakti pod experience? Who wants to go first? We'll take a show of hand and then somebody's going to be talking in a second.
Yeah, so I may have shared this story before, and I'll be very quick. And I'm a long time meditator, but I had this intuitive message to go onto Facebook, and find a video by Muji Baba. And I really hadn't heard of him very much, but I went on, and he just so happened to be in India, in Rishikesh, and he was holding a retreat, and it was live, and he'd just taken his seat. So I was expecting just to sit and listen to him for 4 or 5 minutes or something, I was supposed to be going out somewhere. And I ended up sitting and just dropping into the most profound depth and silence. And I sat there for about 2 hours.
Wow.
Hema or Vasi?
I'll go. So maybe 2 years ago, I'm not sure exactly, but I had a health scare that took me right out of my body and made me question a lot of things. And I say it was a scare because it turned out not to be true, or did I heal myself? It doesn't even matter. But what was so profound about that experience was I pray every day. I'm very connected to gods, all the good different gods and angels and spirit, but it really, really connected me because I kept getting the message and the messages that, this needs to happen and you need to just let go and let God and just trust. And it really, really affirmed that, I have to practice what I preach. And when I say to others that, when you really, really surrender, that miracles can happen. And I really experienced that for myself. But I had to believe in what I believe in, if that makes sense, because we can all talk about it. We can all share with others that it's easy to do this because we understand it cerebrally. We even understand it on a heart level. But to actually go through that experience, I think, was deeply, deeply moving for me. And it shaped, who I feel I am more and more today than even I was 2-3 years prior.
And we're about to do Vasi in just a second, but I'm going to add the whole surrender thing. If you could just look at it at a bare minimum of just letting your thinking take a side seat or even the back seat for a moment and see what happens. Let that stillness in and let some expansion happen. Vasi, you have a really amazing story you shared on another one of these program shows and so on. And that was when your car broke down. I know you probably have something else you want to share, so please share that. But if you don't mind recounting what happened on St. Thomas, the time, I think it was nighttime, the car broke down, maybe the radiator, you were going nowhere fast. And what happened with that? Where would you like to take us?
I was going nowhere for sure. And I didn't have my cell phone with me. For some reason, I almost always do, but this time I did not. And I was just looking around like, how am I going to get help? I mean, there was a gas station up the road, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to lock everything up and walk over there. And before I could do that, a car drove up behind me, and two gentlemen got out. And they look like they knew what they were doing, like they knew what had happened and they knew what they were doing. They opened the lid, look, the hood, and started working with the hoses. A hose had come off and the car was steaming and there was water on the ground and everything. And they helped put it back together and, connect everything and got me back on the road. And I didn't realize until later who they were. I mean, much later, years later, when I was asking about it more just to find out. And it happened to be Shirdi Baba and Master Saint Germain. Maybe they were checking up on me, for some other reason as well, but their presence was very unique. It's like they knew just what to do. They
And there was a
appeared
little
and
detail we skipped, which is they weren't wearing gloves and touching piping hot stuff that no human could have touched.
right, exactly. I did forget that detail. Yes, they were just touching things like there was no issue with it. Yes. So anyway, it was amazing. Everything worked out well, and I was back on my way home. So
Hmm.
yeah.
And Vasi, if you want to add anything else, do it now, or we'll go to the next round here.
Yeah, something incredible to me that happened a few years ago. I'd say probably 2012 when I was at the ashram. It was a little bit challenging time for me with myself and just, things were coming up in that high energy space. And I was walking back to my room after dinner and I just got a little hint to look up. And I looked at the sky and the entire sky was pink. And the message I got was, you are loved beyond compare. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're loved beyond compare. And everyone saw it. It wasn't just me, but hadn't been looking up because I was thinking about myself and what do I need to do now? And I was just taken out of that state into the vastness of the sky and the beautiful color of love, that pink. And so it was a really nice upliftment and release of what I was feeling at that time.
Okay, I have a little assortment, like a game show. I have a little assortment of a cast of characters of loving figures, three angels, two angels, and a light being. We have Joy, who's pink light. We have Grace. I don't have a photo of her or anything like that. That's an actual photo. I have Grace. She's rainbow flex. She's Grace. She's well named. And then I have Grace, the light being, who's not Grace. She's a light being and she's enthusiasm, orange light. You know, so between the three of them, can we just spin the twister wheel and see what comes up? I've only got one angel photo to put up, but Hema, could you go first? And between Grace the angel, Grace the light being, who's orange enthusiasm, and boy, is she big. And I just learned that light beings can totally show up as humans. I would have thought they were too much light to fit into our little bodies, but no problemo. Between the three of them, Grace, Grace, and Joy, what are you getting? It could be a small message, big message. You might actually see butterflies all over the room. I would ask that it's no holds barred. I don't even know what that means, but no limits is the other way to say it.
So I'm getting beautiful orange light everywhere. So I'm going to go with Grace because I can see orange everywhere. I can see orange flowers from the sky falling down, and I can hear the sound of orange. And I know that sounds crazy, but I know you'll get it.
I love it. That was fantastic. And I'm getting goosebumps. So, Julie in the Bahamas, do you mind spinning the wheel and letting, whoop, I double miss. Spinning
Yes.
the wheel and letting them do their thing. What are you getting?
Yeah, I'm getting Grace the angel. And what she was doing and is doing is tapping me on my shoulder and saying, remind everyone that they are grace too, by smiling, saying thank you, supporting people. That is a flow of grace too. And it's really easy to forget, and to pray for grace without, remembering that we are grace too.
And there's a Bravo Valenti that I cannot have on this show enough, who's an artist in LA, older gentleman. It all started after 50 for him. And he says, thank you, I love you to everything and everyone. His book is called Thank You, I Love You. So, Julie, thank you. I love you for that. Oh my gosh, what an inspiration that was as well. Vasi, you got door number one, Joy, Grace, the angel, rainbow light, and Grace, orange light, light being. You might be getting all three plus some India figures. What are you getting in St. Thomas right now?
I'm getting joy. Just feeling her light at my heart, her pink light at my heart, and a little lift of the chin to remind people to, to look up, even if times are a little tough, there is joy in every moment. You can find joy, and you can find a different way of doing things to get out of whatever you may be stuck in, or finding it not so easy, any kind of challenge, because challenge really is an opportunity to grow. And so do find the opening and find the joy in each moment.
And you literally took us to the next topic, which this is the holy hand grenade, the spiritual hand grenade, the but to every situation. My problem is, my situation is, you don't understand. I have 25 dogs, 3 kids, and 16 grandchildren. And I'm not taking away from any of that. Life is very real. It's, happening. Here's the thing that Angel said, and this is the rub. You can be happy now in this very moment without a single reason. Hema, how do we handle such bliss, such possibility, such growth? You can be happy now in this very moment without a single reason. Doesn't reason, society, and everything we know speak against that?
Absolutely. But I think when we're truly, truly connected to our hearts and connected to that deeper part of ourselves, we know that, this is just one small part of the whole experience of our hearts and our souls. And when we recognize that anything that we go through up and down, at the end of the day, we are pure being, we are pure spirit, we are pure light, we are pure joy. So of course, there's always a reason to just feel that joy and bliss in every moment.
Julie, you can be happy now in this very moment without a single reason. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely true. But, what happens in the West is that we've been conditioned to believe that everything's transactional. So to be happy or to feel joy, there has to be a kind of a cause for it, right? You got a new car, or you have a new job or something, that to make us happy. And all of that is about looking outside oneself. But the minute you start turning inside, you realize, joy is always here. Love is always here. Peace is always here.
Love is a constant. How about that? And I think Big Mary said, love is everywhere. Open your eyes to find love. Vasi, talk to us about this whole happiness thing and how it's a constant. We have to do what again?
Yes, tuning into the divine within ourselves, to our womb space, our soul, and our heart. It's all there for us. We are everything, and we have everything. There's no need to look outside of ourselves. And looking at the form and at the illusion, the duality that we live in, it's very easy and it's constant. So it really takes practice to be observant within yourself, to feel those inner vibrations that we have. We have to, cultivate that. But to really know that the joy is always already there, the love is already there. We're made of love. It's what the whole universe is made of. And so we're interconnected with all of that energy. And if we ever doubt it, we can look into the eyes of a divine being that we really connect with, like Mother Mary, Jesus, Baba. Look into their eyes and feel the love coming from their heart, and you can feel that joy.
Any reactions before we jump to the next bit? Okay. If you could, you're all coming across incredibly well. So well, in fact, that I'd like you to go back in time. And you've all had reiterations, iterations, stages in life, reinventing yourself, from one year to the next. Suddenly you look back and you're like, whoa, what happened? I didn't expect all this stuff to happen. Where did you face certain challenges, something that you had to let go of? Can you share a very human characteristic, trait, situation, problem? My problem is that you had to move past. I don't care if it's 20 years ago, 30 years ago when you were 2, all of you, or something else. What would you like to share? Who wants to go first? Julie, you're volunteering.
Okay. So my biggest hurdle in this life has really been about revealing who I am, revealing what I know to be true, because I always had a terror of being seen. Because, I, as I've shared, I used to have lucid dreams and very powerful psychic phenomenon. And I realized not everybody else did. So I tried to hide it because I was afraid of being judged as being weird. And I was afraid of, not fitting into sort of communities. And so my lifelong lesson has really been to find the courage to, speak about these deeper mysteries and the deeper wisdom and the truth of one's being. and to get to a point where, I'm really comfortable in that space now and don't have any concerns. But it can be very difficult, and it's a fairly common issue I've found when I've been working with people.
Emma.
So true. Thank you. So I would say for me, the thing that comes to mind today, and tomorrow you might get a different answer, but today the thing that comes to mind is losing my mum. That was a very big challenge because, of course, spiritually, we accept it. It's the cycle of life, and we all know it's going to happen, and it's beautiful because it's a transition from the physical body into spirit. But when there's something very, very different when it's your mum, and coming back to, what Vasi talks about as well, the womb, and you have that connection with your mum from the womb to the womb. And so I feel like it was very, very challenging from the point of view that I thought I would be okay, and for a long time I pretended perhaps that I was, only to be struck down with perhaps I really, really wasn't. And lots of things followed that, and to come through and to find that grace to live my life from that spiritual plane again wasn't necessarily easy, but it was something that I allowed myself to surrender to and found myself back in this space that I'm very grateful to be in.
And Vasi, we're getting to you, and I'm going to interject for hopefully just 20 seconds. I lost my dad at age 2, so I never actually have a memory of him. But he's around, and hundreds of people have met my mom and dad. My mom passed when I was turning 23, so around 92, 91, 92. And here they are, and they show in their 20s when people see them. People have seen them even in a group.
Wow.
But he's 6'1", and that's Michael Andre Ford Sr., and that's Barb. And she's like 5'4", and she's very sparkly. So that's them. And I was told by angels I couldn't have done what I do now, whatever that is, without them they chose shorter trips. And they knew, like my dad knew he was going early. He's passed at 25 or 26 years of age. Navy fighter pilot type, backseater in an F-4 Phantom off Naples, Italy, blah, 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 blah. But they're around. And I would just remind people it's always bigger than you think it is, because it ain't about thinking. Vasi, I bought as much time as I could. You had the other two speaking as well. You got a good one for us. What is it?
Well, when as I was growing up, I would have different experiences of spirits and angels as a child. And when I would try to explain to my parents what I saw or what happened, they didn't believe me. They couldn't understand it. They said, "Oh, you're probably just dreaming. Don't pay any attention to it. It's not true." And so for a while, like I was shut down for a long while until, I don't know, maybe when I was 10 or 11 years old. I was walking through a field out in the nature, and I don't remember what I was thinking of, but I had like a flash of a past life as an Apache dancer. And there was so much light coming in. I was facing east. I just saw so much light coming in and energy. And I was given the message that what has happened before is true. You are connected. Your parents just don't know that. And so honor yourself for who you are. You are a light. You do have gifts. Let them come up and through you, but don't say anything to anybody else. You have to just work that within yourself, because, you don't want to get shut down again. And for a long time, I felt like Julie too, that I really didn't want to shine my light. I just was afraid to be looked at or known about. But, you can't hide when you have a light and you have a gift to share, an energy that will help other people on their path. That's what it's about, is to let your light shine and let your soul speak for those who need that energy, that help.
Mm. And we're going to start closing it out soon, but I'm going to go back to Vasi because I have an Apache shaman, chief healer. He's action, 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 dry wit humor, and doesn't talk formal and proper. Yes, no. He's more like, yeah, duh, you already know the answer. And he's very good at giving you visions. And they're often these days in the last year and a half horse related. So you might get an image of you riding on the horse. I've only had one person told to get off the horse. The metaphor, it only took me like 6 runs thinking about this to finally realize the horse is the heart. And there's one guy who just needs to ground more. He doesn't need to be in his heart anymore. He's already in his heart. He is told to get off the horse. Just chill. Stay in your body. Okay, here's older Geronimo. He steals the show. He's pretty wily, fun. He's unconditional love. Vasi, what are you getting? Take it in first. I'll be quiet for 30 seconds here. And what are you getting from Geronimo?
Allow your soul to speak, to be quiet within so that you can hear that answer and be authentically yourself, and ask for your gifts to show up in your life so you are sure what it is that you are to do, how to help people.
I love it. Beautiful. Hema, in London, if you want to catch one of those sacred smells, tobacco, sweetgrass, juniper, you get the idea. Catch one of those, but also what are you getting?
Oh, I get a deep, deep sense of wisdom and the fact that we are connected to all of our ancestors and they have so much wisdom. We don't need to repeat their mistakes. We need to live in our own light.
Oh, and Julie, you already got it long ago, but I'll still hold it up for 5 seconds. What are you getting from Geronimo?
Yes, I'm getting a message from him, which is be in nature as much as you can. Nature heals.
Wonderful. Okay, each of you can start to wrap it up if you have a final area you want to share. It could be a past experience and how it applies to everyone. Just a reminder about something. I'll buy time and I'll do my favoritist of quotes from angels, of course. And it's really basic, but I hope it's inspirational. Sometimes the person next to you or a stranger just needs validation via love and compassion. A smile changes any moment. So too does laughter or a few kind words. Be compassionate to all. Do it. Julie, what do you have for us to close this out?
So what I have is when you're confronted with any challenge, lean inside yourself, go into your inner being to look for answers rather than opting to lean outside, because your intuitive knowing will never fail you.
Wonderful again. Vasi.
To be happy within your own being with who you are, mistakes and all. You are a soul of light. You are a beautiful, blessed, and very loved being. And look to help others be happy as well. Be happy yourself and make others happy with random acts of kindness.
Yay. And Hema.
I would say exactly the same as both ladies, but I would also add that as the universe is infinite, our capacity to love is infinite. And the only thing we really, really need to learn is how to tune into that capacity and to really, really live from that space of love.
And we're going to do one new thing that also has never been done before. We're going to do a group hug that includes the audience. Now, I don't know how we're going to do it, so I'm going to ask that we do a visual representation of giving a hug with our hands up again. If we could all put our hands up, we're going to go kumbaya here, but lots of love to everybody. Feel what you can feel, and I'm going to do a final reminder. Please put a comment down. You're going to help other viewers put their comments down because they're going to be like, well, I better not. So an emoji counts. Put an emoji down. Feel what you can feel. You got Hema, Julie, and Vasi in St. Thomas. We've got to keep plugging that island and the Bahamas and London. Firing off a lot of love right now. And I'm kicking in some too. Catch a little Hawaii. I'll blow through the microphone down below. It's love, 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 love. And you all have been wonderful. So I'm going to turn my hands into waving and saying thank you for being here. I am very thankful for all of you. I think this is super fun, and maybe we'll do it a third time. So that reminds people, you've already done a mind, body, spirit panel just a few months ago. I'm going to say it was December, January, somewhere in there. People can go back on the actual YouTube channel and check it out. I think you were all fabulous then. We had close to like 1,000 views or something. Hema, thank you. Vasi, thank you. Julie, thank you. Om Sai Ram, everybody. Happy, lots of love.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Love to everyone.
Love.
Thank you.